All right. Okay, so hi you guys. Are are you kind of excited to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got all of your vendor, you're all on the website as vendors. And you should be able to log into your own vendor page now. So if you want to do that, go to who's coming in. Somebody else is coming in. Another Sue. Oh, it's Jackie. Oops. Hi, Jackie. Go ahead and you can go ahead and unmute yourself for now. Jackie. There we go. So as I was saying, everybody has their vendor page. You should be able to log in. If you can't remember your email, let me know and I can send you a reset link. So if you want to go ahead and log in, well, you won't really see too much back there, but if you want to log in and see what it looks like.
Are you hearing me better now, or do I need to put my headset on?
No, that's better.
Okay.
So how are we to know that we are on the vendor side?
Okay, so let me log in with a different browser here so I can show you what it should look like. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so here we are logged into bymydesign.org. And if you go up here to accounts, you can go here to for seller or even for buyer. But if you go down here to seller and go log in, let's see here. I don't know if this is going to be correct. Nope. Okay. Of course, I'm trying to log in this one that I don't remember my own password. All right. Okay, so once you log in, you'll have this
That's just me.
This button right here, vendor dashboard. Then you click that.
So Alali's shaking her head no.
No.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Oh. Uh,
And the people that are saying they don't have it, Joan, you've already put them in?
yeah, I put everybody in. Are you logging in? What email are you logging in with?
I log in with my name like Alali Valali, like @alali@gmail.com.
Okay, let me check.
Is there anybody that is getting in okay? Jackie is.
Not, I'm not quite sure where to look. I had it up on the screen before. Or maybe I should turn off your faces for a minute. Oh, okay. I have it. I have it.
You have it? Good.
Okay, and are you seeing the dashboard okay, Phyllis, just so we know?
I'm sorry, you were asking?
Are you able to see the dashboard
Yes.
that she's talking about? Okay, so at least the other people that aren't, it has something to do with something else.
Mine automatically opens up to the dashboard when I go in.
Okay. So Robin, you're not able to get in, correct?
Well, I logged out and I'm re-logging back in. I had checked Remember Me, and so it came up as REM Silks, but I didn't see a vendor. And I'm using Google Chrome. And
Alali's still not in, correct?
Well, I can sign in from like seller login. I can sign in, but I
Okay.
don't see that vendor dashboard that button.
Don't have the buttons, so
And the
try
button is very obvious, right? It's
Yeah.
not like a hidden place.
try logging in as a buyer and see
Okay.
if it comes up that way.
Okay, let me try.
so I just logged in,
Oh, wait a minute.
re-logged in,
Whoa, whoa, wait a
and
minute.
it says, hello to me. On my left-hand side, I have dashboards, orders, downloads, addresses, account details, and log out. But I
Oh,
don't have,
okay. I need to change. You don't have it yet, Alali, because I didn't make you.
and you may not have made me either.
Well, I'm pretty sure I need you.
I think you would have had to have done it 15 minutes before the meeting.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay,
So hang on.
okay.
Yeah, for me it's the same. Like I can still log in, but
Okay.
there's nothing. Like they
So,
have the same as
Raleigh,
Robin.
try logging in again.
Wait a minute.
Like a refresh or something?
Yeah, refresh and
Okay,
see if it doesn't come up
something
for you
ain't
now. And let's see here.
I think I was mistaken here. What I got was Joan's page. I need to be looking for
Oh, yep,
mine.
I have it now. I can see it. There's a vendor dashboard button.
Okay, so do you think it was the refresh that worked, just so we know?
Well, no,
for
because I
future?
had to go in and make her an administrator.
Okay, so she wasn't there.
No, I
Okay.
didn't get that done on hers.
Okay,
I'm gonna
So-
double check yours, Robin. I'm pretty sure I did it, but
Okay, I did
so-
get an email that said I was approved, but
but you're not able to get in now.
what?
well, I don't have vendor.
Okay.
vendor
what-
dashboard.
What's your email address, Robin, that you use?
remsilks@gmail.com.
There it is. Oh, yep, I didn't make you one either.
Okay.
Did I
We're
read
almost
all
there.
15
So once,
minutes beforehand?
once Robin's in, everybody's in, correct?
Are you in, Phyllis, or not?
I am. I was on your page before, but now I'm on my own.
How are you on
Awesome.
my page? How weird. All right. So refresh yours, Robin.
Okay. Let me refresh again. Maybe I hit the button too soon.
So is everybody confident that, like, after the meeting, if you wanted to go back in, that you could get in, correct? Is
Yeah,
there anybody that's a little nervous about it?
I
it
still
does-
don't have mine.
And Robin still doesn't have hers, and you've hit refresh, correct?
3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
My goodness.
Let me see.
I finally got the password in. I've written it down. I clicked remember me. I've got it on my phone
Should
and
be good. Thank
So-
you.
what am I? I'm at home on one and I got dashboard orders, downloads, addresses, account detail, logout. So I'm
In good shape.
behind the
Okay.
class though. Where am I supposed to go now to get to what I'm looking at?
We,
Downloads? No.
Robin,
Yes.
you have to get Robin hooked up and then we'll be ready.
try using the goddess rocks at gmail.com.
Okay.
Oh, become a seller? Is that where?
Because that's the one I have for you for your vendor.
It wouldn't let me do that before. The Goddess Rocks wouldn't let me do that before. It said that
Yeah.
I was already on the site, but so username, the
Make sure that I have this one done. Search.
and the password. Would the password be different, or once there's one password per?
It should be this. Just try the same password. If it doesn't work, I'll send you a link for.
Okay, hang on.
So just a note to self, I think in the future, Joan, if we do a class like this, especially if they're paying for it, that we make sure they're all set up and do a one-on-one setup with everybody so that we don't, other people don't have to wait while
Yeah.
we're setting up other people. So thank you, everyone, for your patience as we navigate all this.
You'll have to send me a new link. The password didn't work. I do. No.
All right. Okay. I'm sending you a reset link. It'll go to the Goddess Rocks Gmail account.
Okay. Well, let's continue on. And then that way I'm not holding up the. Okay, I don't want to hold up the class.
Okay.
And then Phyllis or Robin, if you, after the class, feel like you missed something because you were fussing with that, be sure and get back to us so we make sure that you're up to speed,
Yeah.
okay?
I will.
Thank you.
So I just want to make
Okay.
sure that everybody could get into their accounts before we kind of moved on.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, you're fine. Okay,
So were you going to show them something once they get in, or were you just making sure everybody was in?
I was kind of making sure everybody could get in. Can everybody still see my screen here? So if you click on products, and you click on all products for now, except for you're not going to have, oh, well, okay, I have products. So this is where you'll see everything that you have uploaded, okay? And you can either go up here where it says products and add new, you can click that button, or under product tab here on the left-hand side, you can click add new. And that's where you're going to start when you get your patterns ready.
So we should probably check and make sure everybody's listed there. So they see where it says Alali and Jackie,
Okay, so we have Alali and Jackie, Karen,
everybody's there.
Laura, Lisa, Phyllis, Robin, Susan, you and me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think because they don't have a pattern uploaded yet, that we don't get too much time here.
Now, this is where this will be where you go first to upload your pattern, is products and add new. But so I think we can, that'll be for next time.
Right, and then I'll make sure also I'm making note to send everybody a link to the instructions, because we have specific ways to name your patterns and that type of thing. Yeah.
If you look at the upload instructions, I believe it is
On the website.
on the website.
But just to be sure, I'm gonna make a note to send a direct link to everyone so that if they have trouble finding it, we won't be here to help them, and so that they can have a direct hit.
Okay, so under accounts and for seller, preparing your pattern and support documents. So you click on that and there's this giant page full of information that you can print. Just click the print button at the top of the page.
Wait, where am I finding this one?
Can you put a link in the chat for that, Joan?
Yes.
The nice thing about her telling you where it's at is if you do miss it, you'll know that it's right on the website.
Yeah.
If you did need that again.
So, yep, preparing. Oh, so first you go to the account and for seller.
We're not seeing your screen if you're.
Oh, nope, I quit sharing. Here we go. I'll do it again. Share screen. All right. So you're on the site, accounts, and for seller. And then give it to me, be nice. Preparing your patterns.
Okay.
And then you'll get this screen that says stuff. And does it say how to name them? I think so. What is important, oh, yep, here's an example of how to name your documents. So we want your designer name first, and then what it is, that and the actual pattern that it says pattern, and then maybe a dimension. So as an example, Sue's got Sue Wachter dot snail dot pattern dot 18 by 18. So if you put a dot between your words or the different sections, it's easier to read. And then she's got Sue Wachter snail, because these instructions, so these are the instructions that go with her snail pattern.
And that's going to help you a lot, because as you put more patterns in, you're going to have this library, and that puts everything in order for you as well as for us to be able to see all the connections.
I have a question.
Sure.
When I email my patterns to Staples, I can print them out pretty much any size. So the people buying the patterns would be able to do that too.
Correct.
Yes.
So should I leave the size off and just put in the details that you can print it at any size you would like?
You can put in your whatever instructional thing that you have, that they can be printed off at any size that they like. But I would put in your
I would pick a
file
size
guide that
mainly
what size it was. what
because
size
if
you
they
decided.
print it off on their computer at home, that's the size it's going to print off.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So that's because some people will still be printing off on their regular computer. So you need to give them a dimension for that, if that is the case.
Yeah.
Okay. So if
Yes.
it was like a 16 by 24, then they can tile it on their printer?
Correct.
Correct, if they're using the right system, yes.
Or they, you know, if they want it bigger or smaller, they can use the percentages then, because they know what size the image is.
Okay.
Then they can.
If they're savvy enough to do that. But if they want Staples to help them, Staples can take care of all that for you. Or
Right.
when you go to load it online, it can give you that as well.
Yeah, because when I create it in Procreate, I can set the page size.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Also, when you're doing your tracing, make sure that you are creating them on a canvas that is 300 DPI.
okay.
Because if they decide that they want to enlarge the pattern, 300 DPI will enlarge very nicely. But if it's set at like 72, which is kind of the default, then when people go to resize things, they can become very pixelated.
Right, right. But a PDF will keep
I think
the,
a PDF resize is okay.
yeah, okay. Because that's how we're downloading them, is PDFs, right?
Correct.
Because that's on a vector scale, so it should, when it increases, it shouldn't become pixelated.
Now, Arali,
Yes?
the website that you gave for printing or for making or printing online, I went to that and you could only upload like a JPEG or a PNG, not a PDF, unless I was on the.
It come out like once it will enlarge the file for you in PDF.
but you can only upload a JPEG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JPEG.
Which that's common. The software I use is that way too.
So so the point I was going is for our customers, they're going to have a PDF, so they won't be able to use that site to print from because it's already.
Yeah, but what if I upload the PDF? So like say I have a pattern and then I can like the pattern itself will be in PDF format. And then maybe I can include like say 2 PDF file that you can print out different sizes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like will that work? Because like
Oh yeah.
yeah, like you need PDF format, but like I can come up with using different software to fit your criteria, right? So that I don't have to keep going to Staple.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just
So-
trying to see like, if I can work at home and
Right.
get it all done instead of keep bringing one pattern at a time and then go through Staple. Yeah.
Well,
Correct.
and going to Staples is like if you have like big scarf patterns that you already
yeah.
have, right, and you need to get them scanned rather than trying to draw them on a pad or something because you can't kind of bring that in. So that's what going to Staples is for. Is like
It's an option.
pre-existing.
Yeah.
So for what I did today, not having my pattern that I had, so I could have the option of just going with what I ended up with, but I'm not going to want to because there's too much static in it.
Mhm.
And I want a finer line. So it's all going to depend on what you want. So there's going to be a variety of ways to approach it, is what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
which makes it a little more confusing, but we also want to make sure like that we have all those options out there so that if you're comfortable with one over another, that you can go with it. Or if you're used to it, or
Yeah,
So-
because I guess like for me, because I work mostly at everything at home. So even when I draw a pattern, everything is small enough to start, even a scarf pattern, and then I'll just enlarge it. So
awesome. So
Yeah.
you're
so like I'm
what
just
you do is a great example of one way to do it without having to scan.
Right.
yeah.
So if I get the steps in my head so you're doing your drawing, you're saving it as a JPEG,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're uploading it to that website, which will create whatever size PDF that you want. Awesome.
And then people can use that PDF file. They can they should be able to print it at home
Yes.
because it just follow that format, right? So it should be quite easy to do, and they just stick them together.
Right.
So
Exactly.
so taking your JPEG to that website creates a multiple page PDF depending on. Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know the name of the
So
website?
let's repeat the name of that website.
Okay. Let me
It's,
find.
I have it. I have it. Let's see here. It is Rasterbator. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think like I found out like this website actually from Spin on Facebook. Someone mentioned it. So like yeah, someone mentioned it, and then I used it, and then I found it really works like for me because I like to do things at home. Like when I do a pattern, I tend to do a small pattern on paper, and then I can scan it in JPEG or PDF, and then I can upload, and then they can make whatever size for me, and I just print out multiple sheets and extend it. So I think that works really well.
So how
Yeah.
about this so that we aren't trying to keep track of what email or what thing
Mm.
that we why don't I start a Google Doc to share with everybody? Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah, that'd
And
be
then
great.
we're sharing a Google Doc, so we're not having to repeat ourselves. Everything's there.
Mhm.
And if people think of things during the week or whatever, and they say, this is another good site, we can just have it categorized. I think that will be helpful.
Yeah.
So we're all working out of the same thing rather than go somewhere in here, we had a link to something.
Right.
It was,
Let's try to take the crazy
it
out.
was on one of those videos.
Yeah. So, let's do that, and I'll go back through the previous video and I will find any link that we had there as well. And I'll develop a Google Doc and share with all of you.
Thank you.
How's that? So Google Doc in my notes.
Okay, so since we already kind of started with Raleigh, tell us what your favorite way to create a pattern is.
Okay, so I cannot draw out of nothing, so I always have things like reference. At first, like just go through patterns, whatever, like say if I want irises or peonies, flower, I just Google it to see like what's catch my eyes. And then if my approach, I tend to be mix and match. Like I take a lot of different things. Oh, I like this flower. I like this color. I like maybe add a butterfly. Like what's the motion of the butterfly I want, and then just kind of put A in here and then B in here, and then just kind of create my pattern. And then eventually I start taking picture so that I can use my own photos. So everything will be original, that kind of things. Yeah. So yeah, just mix and match, and it works for me.
And what do you like to create?
Well, I
them with?
definitely use photos, and then I will have to trace it. I draw everything on the paper first. That's why I will have a lot of patterns, and then from that I can decide what colors. Right? Yeah.
So Alali, I have a question. So what I do is I put mine, when I do the same type of thing, and then I take that photo and I change it to black and white, and then I use a software to change it into a line drawing to give me a better sense of the lines. Do you do that, or do you just trace it off the photo, or do you?
Well, sometimes like I will have to use a software and then use the kind of touchpad to use a pen to draw on the computer to trace it with the software. Sometimes that's why I get the light box, that so that I can use like say this is my photos, the picture. I can even just with color, I can still trace it with the light box. So yeah, like whichever works. Yeah. Or windows, if the light is good, stand by the windows and trace it. Yeah.
And did we share Lightbox links last time to Amazon? I think we did.
Yeah.
So
basically, I just go on Amazon. Like there are some other websites like you can order stuff from China, but it takes really long time. So, and the price, like nowadays when I compare, they are pretty much similar. Like especially once COVID start, the shipping just going crazy. So Amazon found the cheapest one, then you don't need to go anywhere to compare the
and
price.
that way, if you, because once in a while I've had a few students get a light box that isn't very effective.
Yeah.
So then you can send it back too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
On
had
Amazon,
one
it's
student that it
better.
hardly showed any light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, like you can get it for next day. So it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have a good light box, it should be bright. You should be able to get a nice
Yeah.
on a piece of
like
tracing
this
paper.
one, like I send the link to Susan. Like it does has a USB charger,
Mhm.
but it can have like 3 lights, like brightness to adjust. And sometimes if with the daylight is good enough, I can get the lowest setting. So it's good. Yeah.
I was looking at quite a few today, so I was waiting for class. size wise, you start realizing some are only 8 by 11 and
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
go up
like
to-
they call it like A4, A4, A3 size. Like A4
Okay.
size is smaller than the US letter size.
Oh,
Because we're using British system. A3 is like this. So this is your regular printer paper. So this is about 2 papers.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's where
A3
that
size is the size that you want to go for, so that you have more lights to work.
yeah. Now,
What about A2? Is that too big?
now,
A2? Yeah, I don't. Well, if you're going to print out your pattern like with paper, A2 is a bit big and bulky. Then you probably. But it's up to
Well,
you.
okay,
I
so
think A2 size works. Yeah.
so I'm looking on Amazon right now, and A A4 A4
A4 is like the regular
Yeah.
printer paper.
So,
Yeah.
so there's a bunch of them on here between
Yeah.
$15 and $20. Now you go up to an A3
Like
and it's like $46.
yeah, yeah.
And A2
And
is
I
like
love my A3. That's what I bought, and I'm gonna send
Yeah.
a link for that.
I
Send
think
a link for
A3
that.
size works for everything. Yeah, A4 is a bit small. A3, that's what I pick.
That's the wrong thing. Sorry, I just sent the wrong thing here. Just a second. Let me send you.
The other thing I was looking at is wireless versus having a cord, because what I plan on doing is putting this massive silk over my light box and my picture, and I don't want to have a cable. So wireless is what I'll be looking for. Is that right?
Good luck.
So,
Well, there are wireless.
I haven't seen a wireless one yet.
Yeah, they're on there.
Are
They're
they?
in the
Okay.
$50 range, but wireless, and they've got 7 hours of battery life.
Oh, nice.
So that means you can take this thing anywhere without a cord, right? If it's wireless.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Right.
like when you consider the wireless, you just have to make sure read all the spec. Like, do they like external like or built-in battery charger or like external? Like, because sometimes like wireless, the battery might not last that long compared to you actually plug in a power, right?
It-
So
Do the wireless ones have the option of plugging into a computer? Because you also, if your computer's
charge.
charged up.
yeah,
Yeah, something you need to look at too, especially with your wireless, is the brightness of the light. I'm looking at a wireless one here. It says it's a 5600 lux light pad. 5600 is not that bright.
Okay, what's the normal range that you want those 3 choices?
What, the lumens?
Yeah, lumens, but they're calling it a lux on this thing. So
So there could be some trial and error is kind of the thing that
Yeah.
so once I found one that works, that one that I sent you, it's not a wireless. That's what I always have my students get, so I don't have to worry they're gonna run into trouble.
yeah.
Okay, they're
Well,
just
I guess like for
affordable. I
me,
guess.
yeah, for me, like when I consider a pet is like economical, like factors, like it works, and then it's economical. Like mine, like cost like $45, and if it's after 3 years, it's garbage, then I can get a new one. So I don't have to think about how like I don't need to really take care of it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And I also, even on my small one, what I do too, and I don't know if this is helpful or not, is if I'm doing a piece that's bigger than that, I just make sure it's stabilized, my paper and my pattern stabilized,
Yeah.
and then I move it around. Because you're only can work on one section at a time anyway.
So you're talking about putting the silk right on the light box then?
I don't, but somebody does who's doing that.
That's what I thought the point was of it, like putting the pattern, let's just say say I'm gonna trace one of the cactus that I want to do next. I thought the point would be to trace it onto tracing paper, put that on the light, like trace it on the light box, but then I'm going to put the tracing paper on the light box, maybe spray it first and put my silk over it. Because my issue is when I put my silk on the floor to trace a design, can't see very well. It's not,
Yeah.
it's 30 by 66. I can't put it at a window.
So what do you, okay, so you're talking about trying to trace it off of a pattern or off of a piece that's already done, a piece of silk?
Yes, I want to add.
I can see. Okay.
I see what you're talking about. I wonder if you would need to kind of straight pin it or something to stabilize it.
True,
I
but
don't know.
I still want the light box behind this pattern and silk.
Yeah, you can do that.
You could do that.
I just didn't want this cable in the way. I was looking forward to the box.
I think though where you could run into trouble is if you've got a lot of dark color in your original silk piece.
No, what she means is like even when she start a completely new project,
Okay.
like she wants to actually have the tracing and then the light box as a light source so that she can directly trace the silk pattern.
Onto the silk?
Yeah. Yeah, so but like,
I'm not,
like I will trace all my design, come up with a design, and then I will still enlarge it and print it on the paper, and then I trace it on the silk.
Yeah.
so is your silk, I'm just trying to understand.
It's
Because normally what I do is I either have it up on the stretcher and trace it or something, and I don't need to do that.
95% of it has been drawn on and is painted, and you can't see it. But what I left is areas of future flowers because in
Okay.
December I knew I was going to get an iPad, and the idea was I was going to sketch and put the sketch behind the silk. But now this is on a frame. I got to put it on my floor, and what I was hoping for is to put that light box with the pattern and the silk and be able to trace onto the silk in those few.
I'm not,
well, Susan, if you trace your pattern with a Sharpie, you should be able to see it through your silk without using the light box and just pin it in place without
I don't,
putting on.
yeah, I don't know if the light box is needed, but I would probably, as I'm trying to visualize what you're doing, I would still leave it on the frame and raise the light box so it's right up against the silk or something.
Yeah,
So,
it needs a solid surface behind for you.
Right.
You can use some magazines to support your tracing,
mhm.
and then you just draw on it.
I've tried,
Phyllis
I've got lots of things. The issue is that when it's on the floor and the pattern is behind the silk, there's not enough light, and maybe I have to do a heavier Sharpie line.
Yeah,
But
Mhm.
I think putting the light box behind there would be helpful. So anyway,
Yeah, if you
I'll work on that.
Phyllis has
if you
something.
follow all of Karen's wonderful knowledge, take a look at the picture. She looks as though she takes her pattern, emphasized with Sharpie, puts it on a piece of white styrofoam, and connects it to the back of her frame.
She does.
And you
Okay.
don't have to get down on the floor. Like, I can't get down on the floor. So for myself, I would have to have it where I can reach it standing. But
Okay.
it's on the styrofoam. She's got big clamps
Mhm.
onto her
Yeah, that might
PVC
work.
pipe.
It's just,
Take a look through her photographs.
oh, I've been to her class twice. I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a
So
little memory.
who else
jog.
has a different process that they use that would be helpful for other? So Lisa.
So when I first started, I was drawing them out by hand with Sharpie, and then I would take them and have them laminated actually, so that they don't rip or that kind of thing. but I've started using Procreate, and I put my reference photo behind on the bottom layer, and then I create multiple layers, and I draw out the design, and then I can print it any size at Staples. I just did one that's a 30 by 40 that I put out. So so it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Then what I do is I actually, when I stretch out the silk, then I have a large table that I place it on, and I use PVC pipe put together, and
Right.
I on the table, and then I put my pattern under, and you can kind of, the silk has a little give, so you can kind of press down and then draw what you need to. So, but the lines are dark enough that I can see, so.
Right.
Right.
So I think what we need to circle back to is how are we designing our patterns and how are we getting them ready to upload? So if we could spend the rest of our time talking about that, getting your pattern ready to upload is, I think, what we want to focus on. So does anybody have any tips other than the Procreate? Sounds like it's a good resource. Anybody else?
Well, I use a Surface Pro with a drawing program, kind of like Procreate, which I can bring in layers on if I want to sit in front of the TV and mess around, or on my desktop, I have Photoshop, which you can bring in your image and bring it, bring layers over, and I have a Wacom tablet that I use to draw with on my desktop. Kind of the same thing as Procreate, and then I can just grab the layer that my drawing's on and then create.
So you're using the software you're using is Photoshop.
Or on my Surface Pro, I'm using Sketchbook Autodesk. It's a
Sketchbook Autodesk. Okay, so that's the stuff that I think will be helpful for people to know options. Sketchbook, are these, of course, Photoshop is not free, but Sketchbook Autodesk, you said?
Yeah, I'll get a link here.
It's free. I bought it 2 days ago.
Which one? Sketchbook?
Yeah, Sketchbook Autodesk.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now you can purchase.
It was free.
Yeah,
so far.
it's free to download, but and it occasionally they'll have free brushes you can get, and so
I have a question on that. Can you save those as a PDF, or do you have to go back over?
When you install Sketchbook, it'll ask you what file types you want to have available to you to save as. So if you just click them all, then you have everything that you'll ever need to create
So
files.
you need to say that at the beginning though, right?
When you download it or when you install it on your device, it'll ask you.
So that's good to know. You'll want to use as a preference. You want to include PDFs as a preference.
PDFs,
as a preference.
PNGs.
Okay, because that's helpful to know. And I may have to switch over to that because I'm using something different that doesn't allow me. So I have to I get it done and then I put it over into Photoshop to get my PDF. So that's very helpful. Okay, so who else uses something else as far as software, that type of thing?
There is another one. Well, I use the Sketchbook Autodesk too, but there is another one called Tracing.
Tracing?
Yeah, literally the app is called Tracing. You can download it, and it's quite similar like the sketchbook. And then there's another one called Sketchable. It's also similar as like the Autodesk one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Any other insights on when you're actually drawing and tracing on to the app? Any other insights?
My ask create the canvas the size that you want your pattern to be before you bring any pictures in.
So tell us why that matters, because I don't do that and I haven't had a problem yet, but tell us why that's important.
Well, because then you don't have to mess with it later. You don't have to resize it later. If you size it, what your pattern, the size that you intend your pattern to be to begin with, then when you bring an image into that canvas, then you can resize that to fit your canvas rather than trying to resize after.
So it saves you a step. It's not
Yeah.
like there's a problem if you don't do that. It just saves you a step.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem. That's why I was wondering am I going to have a problem at some point? So any other softwares before I share mine? And I was going to just share my process that I did to get the pattern that I'm working on that I pulled off for today. So any other insights on that? Okay, so I thought what I would do was kind of share my process, and you guys probably already do all this, so just humor me otherwise. So what the one that I use is paint.net, and it is a free app. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and share my screen here just a second. I need to get this off of here. Okay. And then I'm going to share my screen. And okay, paint.net. Okay. So now I got to go off of there. Can you guys still see it all the way? You're not seeing anything behind? Yeah, okay, great. So I went in and I thought, okay, I want to do, oops. Let me go find it now. Okay, so I was in there and it's like, okay, I think I want to do my picking posy one. So I pulled up this, okay, and I was able to go in and resize. I didn't do the canvas size. See, now it's at a 1 inch but I want it to be like a 16 by 16. So I went in and did that. And then I turned it to black and white. And then I went into here and I did pencil sketch. And now I have a pattern to print off. Now, it has too much static on it for me. I'm not happy with it the way it is. So I went ahead and I printed it off and I'm going to retrace it. But I mean, I could technically, so there I have my pattern and I just did it off of my photo. So anybody have questions on that, or do you guys already know how to do this?
I've spent the last 4 days trying to understand the software I've got.
Oh.
It's just really, it's
And
frustrating.
which software is that, Phyllis?
Well, I think I bought too many.
Oh.
I have several software that will take I work almost always from my own photographs.
Right.
It'll take my photograph, turn it into a black and white sketch. But then I have lots of lines on there I don't need.
Right.
And so I did just download the Autodesk. So I'm trying to learn that. Generally what I do is I'll take the photo and I'll turn it into a black and white sketch, which is way too much going on in it. And then I start working with white with the tracing paper over the top and only trace out the lines that I want to use.
Mhm.
And then I can put this right under my silk.
Right,
That's as simple as,
right. So
That's-
for
that's
preparing
how-
that to sell to somebody else,
Oh,
that's
that's-
kind of why I
that's where
showed
I'm-
you my
yeah, no,
process, because I was able to just go find a photo that I'd used, that I'd taken of the original piece that was all done, right? And I was able to just pop that in there and get a basic outline. And now I'm going to, then I printed it off and I'm going to retrace it so it has nice sharp lines where I want it. The bottom line is when you're preparing a pattern, unless you've thought about it way ahead and prepared it that way, like for your old work, if you're doing brand new work, that's one thing. But if you're doing your work that you've previously done, you can do that as well, but it all takes some work, right? There's no shortcut that makes it super easy where you don't have to do much, right?
yeah, I did call Staples, and the one local to me has a flatbed scanner. So they said if I brought my tracing paper and a white sheet of paper underneath, that'll probably work.
Oh,
So
that's good news. That's
yeah, I
good to
thought
hear.
that was good.
How big is their
Mhm.
flatbed scanner?
Oh, I didn't ask.
Yeah, you need to ask. That might be what your pattern right there might be too big.
This is larger than I ended up painting it, so I don't know. I found this today here in my storage. I'll have to keep looking. Maybe there's a smaller one here too.
But
Or it might be at my studio. It's not home.
yeah, but call them back and ask them how large their flat, how big an image can their
Yes.
scanner handle?
Yes, that's a good question. Thank you.
So, so our goal here is to figure out, does everybody have kind of a way in mind that they're gonna figure it out how to get a pattern ready to upload and get it into a file, a PDF file in the right size? Does everybody know how to do that? So when we hang up today and you go try to work on it, is there anything that isn't clear to people?
I'm still having a little confusion on turning my JPEG into PDF. I've found it twice, and I've been able to print out samples here. I just need to wake up one morning a little bit more technical.
So it sounds like I know that Photoshop will get it there, but that's not a free one. It sounds like the sketchbook, if you installed it with the option of a PDF, that you would be able to do that. From what I'm understanding, I haven't used that. Is that correct?
I don't know. I
Those of you
installed it
that
on
use
my
Sketchbook.
iPad, and I don't remember any choices.
Yeah. If you told it,
So we might have to help her later, Joan.
Yeah.
'cause
Okay,
is there
I've been
anybody
watching
else
them.
that's
Yeah, I've been
having
watching
trouble
some
with that?
YouTubes on the Autodesk. Initially, drawing one, I will attempt to take what I have and have it scanned at Staples, and then I'll have more time and less pressure to start learning more
Right.
about the software.
And be letting Staples know that you want it as a PDF as well, and then that
Yeah,
takes care of that.
so
For the first
now,
one.
if you have a JPEG, you can go to this rasterbaiter.net,
Okay,
and that
That
will,
Lolly recommended.
that
okay,
will convert it to a PDF.
And
okay.
so you do know that once you get it in there, then you hit the save as button and it gives you the option to save as a PDF. Is that correct, Joan? I haven't been in that one.
Yes.
Okay,
So the save as button is what you want to, like if you want to change it from a JPEG to a PDF, you don't have to go find any buttons anywhere. You just do a save as and then do your drop down and gives you the option as a PDF. Am I correct, Lolly, since you've used that?
Well, like that website basically is to help you enlarge
Mhm.
your JPEG image into a poster that like you can enlarge it into whatever size. If you just want to turn it into from JPEG to PDF, you can still do it. You just don't enlarge it. Like you will still have to, like, say you upload the image, maybe is one paper, like 8 by 11. Is it 8 by 11? And then you just pick like one page portrait 8 by 11, and then when you save it, it will automatically turn it into PDF.
On that site.
Yeah, on that site.
So you don't have to do a save as and select.
No, you just
Okay.
have to go through, because that website originally is to enlarge, turn your JPEG small image into multiple pages.
Right.
Okay, and that's the Procreate one, correct?
No,
That's
The sketchbook,
that's my the website that I recommend.
masturbator.
the Rasterbator. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Is
it automatically changes it to a PDF.
Okay.
But if you're, Phyllis, if you're having, if it's your older patterns and they're large and you have them scanned at Staples, you just ask them
Yeah.
to save it as a
Okay.
PDF.
And that just saves all your worrying
Yeah,
about software and all that stuff.
Yes.
So
Okay,
that's
and
the
then just-
advantage. It's worth the $2.50 or whatever.
That's not a problem. And then they can email it to me, or I take a,
Both,
Yeah.
both and.
You-
Okay.
Typically, I bring a thumb drive
Yeah.
and then I have them email it as well.
okay, I can handle all of that. It's just the new software, it's a lot of bells and whistles, and I really want to know how to do it.
Exactly, exactly. So Jackie, you have not got to, we haven't heard from you, and I'd love to hear any input you have and if you have questions.
Right now, everything I own is in storage. So I don't have anything to really share with you on that. I've ordered the light box, but where we are in Nova Scotia, Prime was not available, so it's a hurry up and wait game for that to arrive. But I usually just put paper behind it and trace, like Sue was talking about, or not Sue, but yes, Sue Cunningham was talking about, and like we did that with Karen and used the styrofoam in the back or whatever it is, foam core behind it to bring it up to the silk.
So are you thinking of uploading new patterns, or were you thinking of the old patterns?
Both.
And so when you finished your pieces, did you have photos done so that you could make cards or replicate it? So
Yes.
you would, if you have those images, you'll be able to go into like what I did.
Mhm.
Because I just popped in my image that I had photographed to use for greeting cards and stuff. And I was able to pull a pattern right off of it.
Excellent. Yeah, I put a star next to the paint.net. Now I'll check that
And
out when we get settled.
Email me personally if you have any questions when you get in there.
Okay.
Because some of this, I think we are just going to have to do fine. I mean, I don't have a ton of time, but we can figure out a time when I can show you real quick how to do that.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
We're supposed to be moving in on the 29th to our new place, but the contractors are so far behind, it's going to be a hit or miss on that. So I'll have to keep in touch with you on that.
So anybody else, we've got about 8 minutes. Anybody else feel like they wish they knew something or something wasn't clear that we talked about as far as getting your patterns ready to upload or uploading them and how to adjust them? Any other questions?
I have a
Lisa?
question. Just a quick question. The attachment sheets, any directions or drawings, anything else we've included, are they on a Word doc, on a PDF? What format are they?
It's whichever you're comfortable creating them as. They could be a PDF, they could be a Word document.
It's just mainly the pattern itself needs to be in a PDF.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
Lisa had a question too.
Yeah, on the one that you showed us that had the Karen's painting and it was turned at an angle so
Mhm.
that people couldn't copy it. How do you get that kind of image?
Okay.
Right, because as you could see, if you do a straight on image, you could do exactly what I did in my software and you could pull your own pattern off of it.
Right, right.
Let me. So I do this in Photoshop.
Okay.
Does anybody else have a different software they've used to be able to distort?
I think you can do it in Sketchbook. I haven't because I do it in Photoshop, but I think you can do it in Sketchbook. So what you need is your program to have an ability to adjust the perspective. You could probably even do it on your phone. Interestingly, a lot of phones, the editing software in your phone actually has perspective. Where is that?
I'm on Autodesk and it's letting me use my fingers to,
Distort it?
yeah, I don't know if that's permanent or not.
Well, you're not actually distorting it. You're probably just turning
Pivoting.
it.
Okay.
But unless you're on the tab that's.
But what you might want to do so you don't permanently change it is do a save as when you get it to where you want and see if it'll save it turned that way.
Okay.
Here.
Or I could even photograph it at an angle too.
True.
Yes.
If you still have the image. Like if
Right.
you haven't sold the piece or given it away or something.
Right.
And so as you're moving forward, you're going to know that stuff, right? You're going to say, oh, I want to be able to sell this as a pattern, even if you're not ready to sell it right now. And you're going to take it at an angle so that, but when you've already done it and the item is gone and you want to sell
Right.
the pattern,
Right.
that's when it gets where you got to do some kind of tricky something. But you're saying, Joan, that when you've done it, it's been in Photoshop. So one of these other softwares might be able to do that. We just don't know.
Let me, do I have Autodesk on here now? Let's see here.
I don't know where to find
Sketchbook,
anything.
Autodesk. I don't think I have it. Don't have it on my desktop right now. Darn it. I was going to show you quickly in Photoshop, just kind of playing around.
Oh, okay. I may be able to manipulate it in my photos.
Have you got it figured out, you think?
I'll have to play with it, but I may have a solution. But yeah, I am interested in Photoshop, but that's you have to pay for that definitely, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You could do elements.
Element.
Elements.
You can do elements, but I'm not sure
If it'll do that.
if
I have elements.
If elements does that. But
Let me look and see.
share my screen here a minute.
Because elements is free, correct?
$99.
Oh, it's
Unless-
99.
Some people pay $69. I don't know what the criteria is. Your teachers, maybe you could do $69.
So here's an image, and I'm going to have to select it all. In Photoshop, you have to. And I'm going to go down here to transform and perspective. And now I can.
So where did you have that transform? I'm in elements trying to copy with you.
Well, I'm not in elements, so
But I'm trying to follow along to see if elements
it's
can
under
do that.
edit.
Under edit.
Edit.
Edit, and then what am I looking for?
Transform.
And no, I'm not seeing the words under edit transform.
Yeah, they might be someplace else. in Elements.
It also says skew right there above perspective.
Skew makes things all wonky, so you don't really want to make it wonky. But in perspective, see, you can pull your corners and make, well, not there, but
So is the word perspective we're looking for if we're in a software? Is that the word we're looking for?
yeah,
Perspective.
yeah.
Okay. So as we play with our,
So, and it took me a while to figure this out, but you have 9 little boxes around your thing, and you can pick any one of them and actually move the whole thing to change the perspective.
so what did you click to do that?
So I'm just in the perspective window.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which that is not available in
Yeah.
Elements.
And so I can move this little thing all over the place. So if you grab a corner, it changes.
Oh, here, I found it. Okay, does anybody else have Elements? If you go into Image, so if you have Elements or you're thinking of getting Elements, if you go into Image and then click Transform and then click Perspective, that's where it is. So it's in a different place. It's under Image, Transform, and then Perspective. Now it's twirling, so I don't know. It's like acting like, what are you asking me to do there?
And,
So if
I
you grab a corner on perspective, it changes the tilt.
Perfect, okay.
yeah, I
Right.
am saying
And
with
then if you grab the middle, it'll change,
Okay, and I was able to do it.
move around.
I
this.
was able to do it. So those of you that have Elements or are thinking of Elements, but some of these other softwares, so those are
Yeah,
kind of
I
the
am
words
playing
you're
with
looking
the
for.
Sketchbook Autodesk.
Yeah,
Yes?
It has something similar.
yeah.
What is that called? Hold on. No, okay, so when you log in to Sketchbook, you have your image upload, and then on the top, there's one has like a transform.
Okay, transform is the word then.
Yeah,
Okay,
transform is the word, and then it pops up a bunch of options. One of them is distort.
You don't want to distort. You want to do perspective.
but let her finish, Joan. Maybe it's different. So what
Yeah,
happened when you did that?
They also have like a bunch of kind of corner for you to pull
Yeah.
all over the place. But yeah, I haven't found where has the perspective yet, but this store has something looks similar that you can kind of tilt the image on one side.
Mhm.
Yeah, you might have to play. Like I need to play with it to see if like
So
there's
the
another
key,
one called perspective guy, but
okay,
that one has like so many angle is a little bit confusing. Because the image doesn't really turn with you. The grid line keep turning, but I haven't figured out how to turn the image yet.
okay. So as we're all going into our software we're using to see if we can just make the picture so that someone can't just copy it off and make their own pattern.
Yeah.
The words we're looking for are transform and perspective, right?
Yeah.
Were there any other words that, as you were talking, Lolly, would you say
Yeah,
those are the
transform,
words we're looking for?
Yeah, transform, and then there's one option like the store like has the similar kind of effects on the Sketchbook app.
So distort might be, but may
Might
not be.
Yeah, the perspective guides like the 2-minute grid line haven't really, I don't see how the image changed yet. If you guys find out, let me know.
I'll show you what distort does.
Oh, I just found something.
What'd you find?
I don't know how to get back.
Which software are you in, Phyllis?
On the Autodesk,
Autodesk, okay.
the one that's under, I think it was transform, it allowed you to rotate. But then I pushed, I'm just not made for this. I pushed something else across the top and it let me start distorting it.
So what I like to do is I like to add a layer. So that
We're not seeing you if you're showing us something.
I'm putting it up there. It's like share.
So this would be my advice. You need to find something that works for you and just stick with it and don't look at anybody else's thing.
Yeah.
So that you don't get confused.
So
Let's keep
Yeah.
it simple.
Exactly. So that's what I'm hoping, that we can find something that keeps it simple.
now distort in Photoshop, okay? Only really
That would work.
it would, but you have to be careful that you don't end up pulling the middle. Well,
And then you just start all over
yeah.
if you do something wrong.
It'll ask you if you want to save it. You just tell it no.
Or is there an arrow that you just go back?
Yeah, there's a back
Well-
arrow.
Yes, but in some programs you can only go back so far.
So keep in mind too, if it doesn't say go back, sometimes if you click Control V as in Victor, it'll take you back. I'm not guaranteeing, but some programs will, if you don't know how to get it to go back.
Yeah.
Control V will get you there
So
sometimes.
so there you go. There's a
And when I say Control V, does everybody know what I'm talking about? Because I hated that when people use lingo and you go, what is she talking about? Everybody knows what Control V means, right?
I don't.
Okay, so Phyllis,
Mhm.
on your computer, if you hit, like if you type something or you erase something, typically, and you want it to go back to where it was before, you push your Control button and then the letter V, and it'll take it back.
Both together? I've never understood.
Yes, I do it Control and then V.
V.
I do Control V.
On a Mac?
I don't know about a Mac.
Okay. If
But
I
it
do
does-
Control Z, it'll
That's a copy.
That's a copy.
no Control Z for mine. I'll
Z.
take away the last thing that I did.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I've got the Mac and
No Control
I'll
Z.
call my kids.
Yeah. But anyway, so here's a distorted image that if they want to work real hard and bring it back to, you know, something that looks proper, then, you know, good on them. But we're also asking you, and it's in the instructions, that there's 2 compression sites to go to. So the images that actually show on the website, not just the ones that are there for your customers to download, but the ones that show on the website, we need you to put them through the 2 compressors. It says use this. It says use this one first and use this other one second before you upload those to the website. So it does 2 things. It saves space on the website so things load quicker, and then it, you know, the file is you should be so small that, you know,
Hard to copy it.
yeah, people will be able to copy it.
So when we get there, that'll make sense.
Yes.
So is there anybody that wouldn't be ready next time to have something already uploaded?
Is that 2 weeks?
Stop sharing.
1 week, 2 weeks?
Let me look at my calendar.
Where are we at? Two weeks.
It would be 2 weeks. So we're meeting again on the 28th. So Elisa has a question.
Is there
Or we-
any way that we, is there
ahead.
any way that we can make it Thursday instead of a Wednesday?
My
Thursday,
calendar is a hot mess here. So hold on just a minute.
Okay.
So the problem is I sometimes am already teaching 2 classes plus working a 4-hour shift on Thursday. So it gets a little messy. But
Okay.
What's your 29th look like, Sue?
looking at my 29th, I have a webinar at work. I have my class.
We have the business meeting on 29th,
On the
Thursday.
22nd.
Cor-
Oh, we do have the business meeting on the 29th.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna work.
Susan, Moya.
I have 2 classes, morning, day and night on the 6th. So the very first Thursday I would even have available would be the 13th. However,
Okay.
I mean, that would give people time, and that would give us possibly time where we could support people a little more individually. But that space is limited because, like I said, I'm working a full-time job plus teach 4 or 5 classes a week. So, but I could probably squeeze in an
Right.
hour between.
But I can help people too, so.
Right. Because I think at this point, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that
Or
need
Tuesday.
individual help, which that way I think we can move through faster with the goal of in the next couple weeks. So do you guys need more than 2 weeks to get something uploaded and get your support? Or how do you feel about
Jackie
it?
does. She doesn't know where her stuff is.
Jackie?
She,
I know we can get her something.
In.
She's got
We'll give-
digital files. She's
We'll-
fine.
We'll help
get
you.
something.
We'll give you things. We'll donate.
I have
But
digital
she has
files.
digital
That's not my
files,
problem.
so I can
Yeah,
help
I
you,
have digital.
Jackie, if you've got
there we go.
a piece that you have a nice photo of somewhere as an image that you want to make into a pattern, I can help you use the paint.net and get you there if you want. Don't feel
Okay.
pressure.
And
Yeah.
don't just,
I
and
just need-
don't just type in paint.net because it'll say you want to buy this site. It's
It's going to try to sell you
getpaint.net.
something, but you don't have to.
Let's download because I just install it.
Yeah, it's getpaint.net.
Get paint.
Oh, get paint, okay.
Mhm.
It's in the chat.
So did we decide on a day? I mean, I can do the 28th because we're only doing maybe a couple of more classes, right?
Right.
Okay.
So
That's
you
okay.
can do the 28th.
Yeah, I like to go to church on Wednesday, so
What we'd like to, and you're living somewhere where it's later.
yeah.
So let's all shoot for one way or another that when we hop on the next time that we all have our screen up and we're ready. If you need any help you've got your patterns uploaded and you're ready to set it up to be ready to go.
Yeah. So yeah, and you're in your vendor area.
Right. So
And we've already-
everybody got logged in today, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
And-
the
Go ahead.
instructions are actually on the website, not in our individual
Correct.
pages, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That link, you go to the website that Joan showed earlier and you find the instructions. Because I think that will be helpful so that everybody's like ready to go and we'll just walk through how to finish off and get it loaded and we'll pop them up onto the website.
Okay, so you don't want us to upload it yet. You just want us to have it ready.
You can have it uploaded
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
comfortable. But
Yeah,
Phyllis,
You know, if you run into questions, just pop us, an email
Right.
and we'll get you there. And or or let us know that you have something uploaded so we can go in and look at it.
So the thing to think about though is, you know, decide what you're going to do. You're going to have, it's always better. I mean, Karen has one on there that she doesn't have a color photo for. So, I mean, you could still do that and distort it, but have, you know, your photographs ready, any extra instruction, and Robin, I'll be right with you. Any extra instruction or whatever it is you want, it's your business. So you put on and tell them what's for sale, whatever is your business.
Yeah.
And then we can help you if at that point, once we get you there, try to use the instructions to do the compressing or whatever that is the best you can, and ask for help where you need help, and we'll help as we're available before then. Robin, you had a question.
That was the question I had. You had mentioned 2 sites, or to do 2 compressions.
Yes.
Is there a website that we're going out
Yes.
to do
There are
that?
2 websites, 2 different
The link will
websites
be
for
there.
you.
Okay.
And so the photos that you're going to have actually on the website, if you save them as a small size to start with, and then put them through the compressors. So you don't want a giant 30 by 40 inch photo that you're putting through the compressors, because it's still not going to make them small enough. So you need to
Right.
receive them as a
So these are the photos that the public will be seeing before they, so it's different than the images that you're selling them to.
right.
So that we're talking about 2 different things.
Yes.
So let's try to, the best we can with time permitted, get you guys the support, individual support you need, get you where you have your system down, because I think that's what everybody needs, is to figure out what's working for them, what software is working, make sure you have all the software you need, and just take some of the confusion out of it so that you have your system that parallels
That's
what we're
yeah,
asking.
that works for you. Yeah.
I have
Okay.
one more question.
Sure.
Because I couldn't sign up, or do we have to have 2 different sign-ons for our buyer account and our seller account? I mean, one of them is I had to change or get a new email because I was already registered when I bought. So I got a new email and I put in a different password, different name, the whole 9 yards. Now, neither one of them will work.
Oh my goodness.
So do
So
I
we
need
need to
2
find out.
different?
You haven't been able to log in yet?
No. Well, no. It-
Did the reset
I haven't been able, I can't, my other computer, I do not put online and go to
Okay.
Gmail because
So
I have all my,
let's- Robin, do you have time after the meeting here, or do you need to schedule a time to get that figured out?
I have time. If you just tell
Okay.
me, do I need
Okay.
2 different
So let's
names?
wrap up
well,
everybody else's needs and then stay on a couple minutes and see. Sue, you have a question.
So this download of the PaintNet, does it go on an iPad? Do I have to figure out what Windows I have?
Oh, just yeah, I just checked. Paint.net only works for Windows. So on the chat, I just found another one that's the website recommend for Mac.
Awesome.
Like yeah, there's another Photoshop-ish thing that you can try. So, but that one I never
I can
tried.
put it on my laptop and see what that's about. And then the proper spelling of that rastinator.
it's in the chat.
Yeah, was it? Oh, I was trying to
Yeah.
scroll back. Okay.
Asterbator.
For some reason, I
I'll recopy it for you, Sue. So
Okay.
just a second.
can't see the whole chat for some reason.
There's just a lot of chatting today. So
Okay.
here, just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna put it on there.
Can we
There we
print
go.
that? Can we print that out, the chat?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a Google Doc for you guys. So I'm gonna go back through both sessions and I'm going to put all these links in there, and hopefully I remember what in the world the link's for. but I'll at least put them there, and I'll put it under, most of them are software links, so.
If you just did it by date, so we can remember what meeting we talked about it. And then, we'll-
Talked about a lot of these in both,
okay,
so, I mean, I'll try to. I'll put, or maybe I'll put a date by both, because we talked about the masturbator one, that one was on both, so I'll just try to put both dates on it. I'll try to do my best to make it all connect. Okay. Anybody else have something urgent that they want? Robin, do you have something?
No,
Okay, I just saw
Just-
your hand. I saw your hand
No.
up there.
oh,
So-
no, not again.
Anybody else? I appreciate you guys so much because
Yes.
we want to have it so all these great questions, you guys aren't afraid to ask questions. That's awesome. Because we want to have this down to a science before we teach this class as a workshop at Spin.
Yes.
So we're highly motivated to take all the confusion that you guys have experienced in the last 2 meetings out of the mix and have this down to a science. So.
And I'll just add that the next Silkworm magazine coming out May 1st has the whole festival agenda. So
oh, excellent,
when
So who's planning to go?
I'd like to, if I-
Okay.
When is the festival again? I'm brain dead at this point.
First week in October.
over,
first
Okay.
to the ninth.
I think it's gonna depend on whether or not Nova Scotia has vaccines up here, because right now it's slim and few and far between. And
Right.
not available for my age group yet, so.
Well, my first shot's tomorrow, so hopefully, and then July, so hopefully I'm good. Just need the borders to open up.
Yeah,
Well, that too.
that
Yeah.
too.
Okay, any
Yeah.
other questions before we go and try to help Robin? Or was it Robin or Phyllis? I can't
It's
forget.
it's
No,
Robin.
it was Robin.
Okay,
I'm beyond help, it's okay. I'm gonna.
you're
do my
doing
basic.
fine, Phyllis. I mean,
I'll do my
it's
basic,
good to have you in the class too, because at the workshop, we're gonna have people that aren't super comfortable with all this lingo and stuff. So it's important that we get it down simplified enough so that everybody can understand and be successful. So I appreciate you very much.
well,
And that you're
thank you,
willing
and
to-
years ago, I owned Photoshop Elements, but so long ago, it was version 3.
I have an old one and I uploaded it and it did fine.
I can't, I've changed computers too many times.
Oh, do you have the discs?
I do, but my iMac doesn't have a place for discs.
Oh, shoot, that's a problem.
Hmm.
It's okay, I'm gonna work it out.
All right.
All right, you got this. All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks
Thank you
so much,
both.
you
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay, so I'm still here.
Bye, Jackie.
Bye.
I see everybody waving. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye, everybody, soon as